Explore the reasons why getting up at 3 a.m. can hurt some people's health and sleep. Why do so many older people get up at 3 a.m.? Not wanting to sleep at all? You might feel like something is wrong with your mind or body when you look up at the ceiling at night. This happens more often than you might think, and it's not just a habit or a sign of getting older. After waking up early, what does it mean that you're still wide awake at 3 o'clock? That's right. All 5 of the strong reasons for this pattern are in this video. You may have a different view on sleep after watching the video because you learn more about each reason and how it affects your body, your health, and your life. Unfortunately, these aren't even the most basic explanations. They are based on facts about human psychology, physiology, and the natural aging process that most people don't know. You could be sick, your hormones are changing, or you're having trouble sleeping or getting along with other people. When we talk about these things, we'll do so in a way that is open, empowering, and respectful of your life journey so far. That being said, has anyone ever woken up at 3 a.m.? After finding the right place, you'll understand why. Yes, that's exactly what you need to go to sleep better. Another benefit is that you might learn to understand and be grateful for your body's experiences. If you don't already, subscribe and hit the bell button before we start. That way, you won't miss a video. In the comments, give the video a like if you liked it and a 0 if you didn't. Thanks for your thoughts. I'll use it to make my videos better for you. We can begin now. First, the production of melatonin goes down. As people get older, their bodies naturally make less melatonin. This is why a lot of older people wake up at night, usually around 3 a.m. The body's internal clock, or sleep-wake cycle, is controlled by a hormone called melatonin. It is necessary to get to sleep and stay asleep. When you were younger, your body probably produced a lot of melatonin, which helped you sleep deeply and soundly for long periods of time. Sadly, as you age, your body makes less of it, which can have a big effect on how well you sleep. If you had a good night's sleep or a long day, your melatonin levels may drop too low in the morning. Because of this, it might be hard to fall asleep and stay asleep until very early in the morning, maybe until 2, 3, or even 4 in the morning. Not having enough melatonin in your body can make you slowly wake up instead of a loud noise or a dream waking you up. You are not doing anything wrong or your body's not working right. This is just how things are as you get older. On top of that, the bedroom can make this effect even worse. Small amounts of light, like those from a street lamp outside the window, a clock on the nightstand that blinks, or a hallway light under the door, can make melatonin stay in check even more. As you age, your body becomes more sensitive to things in your environment. That 3 a.m., this makes getting up feel even worse. For example, Harold, who is 72 years old now, has always thought he slept well. Lately, though, he finds himself wide awake around 3:15 a.m. most nights. He's not worried or upset. He just feels awake and ready to start the day. Because of melatonin, this wasn't a failure on his part. It was a normal part of getting older. He stopped blaming himself and started changing the things he did. To help his body's natural clock, he now makes his bedroom darker, stays away from screens an hour before bed, and goes for a short walk in the evening. His body gets the message that it's still nighttime with these small changes. He still wakes up early sometimes, but he's learned to work with his body instead of against it. This kind of knowledge can change everything. When you realize that waking up early might not be your fault, but rather a change in your body's chemicals, you can support your sleep instead of being angry at your body. That's the power of awareness. It turns frustration into compassion, and it helps you make wiser choices about how you care for yourself at night. Second, the sleep cycle has changed and the advanced sleep phase has begun. Another important reason why older people often wake up around 3 a.m. is because of a natural change in the body's clock. This is called the advanced sleep phase. Our circadian rhythms start to move forward as we get older. This means that we may feel sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. You may find that you fall asleep during a late-night movie or wake up early without an alarm, even on days when you wish you could sleep longer. This change isn't just a matter of habit. It has deep biological roots and can get stronger as the years go by. A later bedtime and an earlier wake-up time that feels more in sync with the sun are common when a person is younger. But as this rhythm moves forward, the sleep window moves forward naturally. At 9 p.m., you might fall asleep. If you woke up at 3 a.m. or even earlier, Without meaning to, your body has already had its full cycle of rest. Turns around. Because of this, you might be wide awake in the middle of the night, even though it's still dark outside, and feel like you're tired. Just because your body's on a different schedule now doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's kind of like a clock that has been slowly reset over the years, moving ahead a little more all asleep earlier in the day. Your system shuts down much earlier at night now that there is each season. This isn't bad, but it can be annoying if your lifestyle, family routine, or personal tastes don't fit with the new rhythm. This change also has a quiet psychological side to it. A lot of older people live in quieter homes or spend more time alone. Being in a quiet space can make the body's signals to wind down stronger, which can help them if there isn't as much noise or activity that might have kept you up at night before. Lack of external time cues like meetings, commutes, or social events can make this internal shift even stronger if you don't work full-time or have a strict daily routine. Look at someone like Charles, who is 68 years old and retired. Around 5:30 p.m., he usually eats dinner and spends an hour watching TV before going to bed. At 9 p.m., he goes to sleep, and by 3 a.m., his body's ready to wake up on its own. He doesn't feel worried or stressed. He's just aware. He thought he had insomnia at first, but after learning about the advanced sleep phase, he realized that his sleep hadn't been broken. It had just been moved around. Charles changed his evening routine to stay up a little later. He would read a book in a warm light, go for a slow walk after dinner, and sometimes call his daughter for a quick chat before bed. His sleep window gets a little longer because of these little social and sensory cues. This helps him wake up earlier in the morning. As a result, there were fewer 3 a.m. awakenings and a stronger sense of being in sync with his daily life. A lot of older people go through this natural change in their sleep cycles, but not many talk about it. Knowing this can help you feel less guilty or confused, and it can also help you work with your body instead of against it. That is, if you wake up around 3 a.m., if you feel like you've had a full night's sleep, your body may just be on an earlier schedule now. Once you know this, you can start to change your routine in ways that are good for your health. Third, physical pain and interruptions caused by health problems. One more reason why older people often wake up at 3 a.m. is your body's way of dealing with pain or other health problems that tend to show up at night when things are quiet. As we get older, we're more likely to have long-term or subtle health problems. Many of these conditions can keep you from sleeping without setting off loud alarms. Some of them are painful, like a sore joint, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back. These are often enough to wake you up in the middle of the night. For people with conditions like arthritis, lying in the same place for hours on end can be very painful. When you first fall asleep, you might not feel any pain, but after a few hours of rest, those aches can get bad enough to wake you up. Some people wake up at night because of acid reflux, especially if they ate dinner too late or sat down too soon afterward. It's possible for something as simple as dry mouth, muscle cramps, or a small change in the room temperature to wake you up in the early morning when your body's defenses are already stronger and less tolerant than they used to be. Older men often wake up at 3 a.m. because of a physical problem, the need to go to the bathroom. The bladder loses its elasticity with age, so the need to go to the bathroom more often and faster can happen. When you have a lot to think about during the day, you might not feel it, but at 3 a.m., that feeling is impossible to ignore when it's dark and quiet. It may be harder to fall back to sleep after getting up and moving around, even if it's just to go to the bathroom. This is because your body may have already changed from deep rest to light alertness. There's also the matter of medications, which a lot of older people take every day to control their blood pressure, heart health, or pain. Taking these medicines can cause side effects like having to go to the bathroom more often, changes in body temperature, or being more sensitive to light or noise, all of which can make it hard to sleep. You might not even know there is a link between your medicine and the way you sleep until someone tells you, or until you start keeping better records of your habits. 76-year-old Eleanor is an example of a person who has always had trouble sleeping. She has been waking up at the same time every morning at 3:30 a.m. for the past year. After months of thinking it was just getting older, she finally talked to her doctor and found out that one of her medications was making her less hydrated and making her go to the bathroom more often at night. With the help of her doctor, she changed when she took her medicine and made some other changes to her lifestyle. Now she wakes up less often and can go back to sleep more easily when she does. What you need to keep in mind is that physical wake-ups don't mean your body is failing. They mean your body is still doing its job. It's responding, alerting, adjusting. These signals can guide you toward better care, more informed choices, and a deeper sense of trust in your own awareness. Getting up at 3 a.m., a quiet reminder to tune in, check in, and make small changes that support better health and deeper rest may feel like an annoyance. In fourth place are habits that change your sleep rhythm. Another strong, but often overlooked, reason why older people are awake at 3 a.m. is long-term daily habits, small routines, and choices that change your internal rhythm slowly over time. An increasing number of older people naturally start eating dinner earlier, going to bed earlier, and being less active during the day. Small changes like these can add up and tell the body that nighttime should start earlier, which means that you have to get up earlier too. When your days are less busy, like when you retire, your body doesn't get the same external cues it used to get from things like commuting, running errands, or doing mentally or physically stimulating activities. The body's sleep-wake cycle might start to move forward without those signals. If you have a calm, dimly lit evening with not much going on, your brain may start making melatonin earlier, which can put you to sleep before you even realize it's 9 p.m. When you go to sleep earlier, your body finishes resting earlier, so you wake up in the early morning hours, usually around 3 a.m. There's also a weak link between when you eat and how well you sleep. Even though it's usually a good idea to eat dinner early, not having a light snack before bed can cause your blood sugar to drop during the night. It might not feel like hunger, but that dip can still wake the body up. Also, caffeine can stay in your system for a long time, even if you only drink it in the early afternoon. This is especially true as you get older and your metabolism slows down. This can make your sleep lighter and more likely to wake you up at any sign of trouble. Some people, like Walter, who is 74 and just retired, noticed these changes over time. His days became less planned, and in the evenings he had more free time. He found that he ate dinner at 5 p.m., fell asleep in his recliner while watching the news, and went to bed before 9 p.m. Most nights, he hadn't even realized that his whole schedule had changed a few hours before. He soon woke up around 3 a.m. and couldn't figure out why he was wide awake before the birds even started singing. Walter started making small changes to his routine after thinking about it. He started going for a short walk in the afternoon, reading in brighter light at night, and not taking naps after dinner. These changes pushed back his natural sleep window a little, which let his body settle into a rhythm that was more in line with when he wanted to wake up. It's amazing how often we forget how powerful routine can be. Our bodies crave rhythm, daily patterns that function as signals, informing the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to wake up. The internal body clock can get lost if these signals get weaker or move around. This can cause sleep to start earlier and be more broken up. But if you pay attention to these patterns and make thoughtful changes, you can slowly get your body back to a sleep cycle that feels more restful and less interrupted. The fifth is emotional and mental restlessness. Sometimes getting up at 3 a.m. is more about the mind than the body. As we age, emotional layers that were buried by daily life can start to come to the surface at night during the quiet. People often feel their worries, regrets, or longings start to surface in the early morning when everything is quiet and there aren't many other things to do. Your mind may be quietly going over memories, unresolved thoughts, or small worries you didn't know were still with you when you're lying awake. Not because of noise or pain. This kind of restlessness isn't the same as full-blown anxiety that can happen to teens. It's calmer and makes you think more. In the background, it can feel like a soft hum. You can tell that something is off, but you can't put your finger on it. When the mind isn't doing anything, it often thinks about old relationships, decisions made in the past, losses suffered, or words not said. When the body isn't rushing from one task to the next, those thoughts can ring a little louder. It is also important to understand that being alone can be a factor. Older people often have fewer friends as their children move away, friends get busy, and daily routines change. Even though it may be bright and busy during the day, the night brings peace and the awareness of that emotional gap. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy. Sometimes it's just a need to connect with someone or a soft ache to talk to when the house is quiet. Think of a widowed 80-year-old woman like Gloria. She takes care of her garden, calls her grandchildren, and watches her favorite shows during the day. But every night around 3 a.m., she wakes up with memories of times she spent with her late husband or worries she tries to ignore during the day coming back to her. She thought something was wrong with her sleep at first, but over time she realized that waking up early wasn't about sleep at all. It was her heart calling out for attention. Gloria started writing in a small journal next to her bed to help herself. She sometimes writes down what's on her mind when she wakes up. It's nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also made it a habit to do something quiet every night, like write a note to a friend or listen to soft music. These small acts of connection and reflection helped her let out her feelings in a healthy way. They calmed her down and made it easier for her to fall asleep again. The truth is that the heart doesn't work on a set schedule. It sorts through things to remember and ask the right questions. Sometimes it does all of this at 3 a.m. when it's quiet everywhere else. That's not a flaw, though. It shows that you have depth. When you wake up, if you feel like thinking, it could mean that you have wisdom that's ready to be recognized. You've been through happy times and sad times, and those events have shaped not only your memories but also who you are. Instead of seeing these wake-up calls as problems that need to be fixed, try to look at them with interest and kindness. What does your mind want to say? What do you need to speak up for? What about you need some grace? Some of the most meaningful rest you can get, even in the dark, is when you honor these moments instead of ignoring them. You might not only sleep better, but you might also learn more about who you are at this point in your life. Last words. As this video comes to an end, please take a moment to think about what you just saw and heard. What really hit home for you? Was it the change in your body clock, the small changes in your health, or something deeper, like an emotional rhythm that only shows up when everything else is quiet? Getting up early for each of these 5 reasons is a different way to look at it, and none of them mean that something is wrong or broken. In fact, they all show how deeply your mind and body are still responding and changing as you move through this stage of life. It's powerful to listen to what your body's telling you, especially in the quiet hours before dawn. Instead of seeing it at 3 a.m., instead of seeing wake-ups as a bother, you might start to see them as messages, gentle signals that tell you to pay more attention to your heart, your needs, and your habits. You're not the only one going through this or looking for answers. But when you gain insight, you become stronger. And when you become stronger, you can make small, meaningful changes that help you rest better, feel more comfortable, and connect with your own rhythms more deeply. If any of these things describe you today, know that you're not just getting older, you're also changing. This change gives you a chance to rest more intentionally, care for yourself more gently, and start each day with a bit more peace and understanding. Thanks for being here today. Please get in touch with us. Tell us what you learned today and how you're going to use it in your life in the comments below. We care about what you think, so don't be shy about telling us. We feel very motivated and encouraged when we read your comments. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you liked it and found it useful. Thanks for your support. It lets us keep making good content for you to learn from and be inspired by. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.